Okay, so happy Easter Sunday for those who celebrate. This is a drawing of me that I love, and this is my Tom Petty American Treasure CD that I had a button and I lost, and I need to make another one. And this is me and my art car. Focus, camera, focus. So right now it is April of 2026, April 5th, and I was thinking about the paradox of the dyslexia that I have. I have a tendency to have synesthesia and dyslexia, and synesthesia is when you mix your senses. I associate music with shape, and I am so blessed to be an art model for a living because it requires me to just sit still and pose in a graceful way, and then people can draw and paint me because I don't know how to do jobs that are part of the rat race out there. The sort of sales, like being a salesperson or being a super social, talkative person. I find that being an art model suits my slightly introspective, actually, my very introspective personality. I wanted to talk about, I recently made a couple new music videos for my Goddess KRING music, and I recently listened to a Jungian psychology video about how it's really good when you're by yourself to think of yourself and not other people. And then when you're around other people, you think about them and you tune into them. And it's sort of like I have that backwards. My dyslexia shows up in different ways. Like I know left and right. I'm left-handed. I know left and right. I'm left-handed and I'm an only child, and I was raised in a non-traditional family. We did not celebrate religious holidays. Christmas was about giving gifts, and Easter was about Easter egg hunts. And yet, I recognize the symbolic metaphorness. I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. In other words, I believe in the wisdom of spiritual wisdom and philosophy, but I'm not into scientific atheistic dogma, but I'm also not into um, religious dogma, and I don't take scriptures literally, and yet I'm not here to tell anybody who's religious to not be religious. That's your choice. You are free to choose. I don't choose between being an atheist or being religious. I choose that I'm a spiritual. I feel in my heart and my soul that I'm a spiritual person, and I don't know if that really matters. Although right now I think there's a war on anything spiritual, and right now I think that a lot of people are worshiping so-called science and technology. Technology is not the same thing as science. Technology is part of science. Um, and quantum physicists are the ones who know, and Jane Goodall said some wise things as well about that. But Jane Goodall was not an atheist, but she was not a dogmatic religious person either. And I think she was tapped into some wisdom there. She said that what she witnessed with chimpanzees and how they're connected in a certain way alluded her to the mystery of existence and the mystery of that there's something beyond just the physical reality and that we're all spiritually connected. But I'm not here to tell other people what to think. I'm just telling you where I'm coming from. Whereas I see people, this duality, I don't agree with extreme left or right opinions. I also don't agree with extreme um, being a total atheist who worships science versus being a religious person who doesn't believe in science. I think that both of those statements are absurd. And I think that the people that I think are in touch with wisdom are the ones that see the nuance in everything, whether it's a spirituality or science or religion or philosophy or even food. I'm not a vegan, but I'm also not a carnivore. I lean in the sort of more carnivore direction right now, but I am an omnivore. And I feel like I believe in nature and biology, and I believe in the I think that it's amazing the way male and female mammals reproduce each other. And I feel like biology is a great thing. And I feel like I love and accept everyone. And at the same time, I feel like we've lost touch with biology. We've lost touch with basic nature. And yet we are creating this and we're using technology in ways that is like Frankenstein. And I actually wrote a poem about it recently called Don't Take the Bait Eggshell Walker. And I wanted to talk more about, I'm just going to kind of ramble a little bit. I haven't done one of these videos in a long time. My brain is scattered all over. I'm listening to Buddhist videos as I go to sleep at night and wisdom, the wisdom of Buddhism and how less is more. And you can do less by, you can do more by relaxing and letting go. And I'm fascinated by the paradox of less is more and more is less. I'm fascinated by Joseph Campbell and Jungian psychology and Buddhist philosophy and Taoist philosophy. But I'm not here to tell anybody what to think. And when some people say science, they mean actual objective science that doesn't have any preconceived idea of how the results are going to be. And so when a large corporation that makes a profit off getting a certain result wants a certain result, then I don't trust that science. So when they say trust the science, it's kind of like um, if a corporation is going to make a lot of money by telling you something that's scientifically supposed to be true, that doesn't mean it's true. It means that company's making a lot of money and they're a little bit biased. And so that's not real science. So real science is more objective, is objective the right word? So I'm seeing all these like hypocritical contradictions, and I notice when people say they believe in something and then they contradict themselves, and people are gaslighting each other and scapegoating each other and manipulating each other. And again, I wrote a poem called Polarized Landscape, Debate Escape, Polarized Landscape, sponsored by fill in the blank, Cancel Culture Vulture, Virtue Signal Soldiers, and I wrote a song called Outsmart the Gaslighters. A new song I had that's a similar uh, topic is Don't Take the Bait Eggshell Walker. It's on the lawn along the lines of The Emperor Has No Clothes, and I don't just mean literally the most current obvious corruption that's going on. I mean way beyond that. I mean a multinational planned demolition of certain things in our society that's a planned demolition. And some people, if I told you what I really thought about most things, you would say I was a conspiracy theorist or whatever. Um, I think it's pretty naive to really believe what we're told in a certain mainstream way, and I don't really buy into most of it. And yet, um, I'm not here to argue with people, but I feel like there's a war on anything spiritual. There's a kind of a war on nature, even though people say they care about the environment. I feel like they're doing weird, genetically modified experiments on nature. We are doing strange things to our own bodies and strange things to our own food, and we're tinkering with nature in a way. And I'm all about loving people. Whatever kind of sexuality somebody wants to have is totally fine with me. But I feel like when we worship um, surface external things and we tinker with nature and we think that we're loving and respecting each other when we do that, it doesn't make sense to me. And yet I'm not here to judge other people for doing different things. So I have personal opinions and philosophies that really don't mesh with what's considered hip and cool, what's considered politically correct. I don't fit into that, but I don't fit into people that are extremely conservative, but I also don't fit into with people that are completely liberal. And so that's why I love being an art model, because I can sort of be Switzerland. I can be Switzerland when I'm on the model stand. I don't say a word. They draw me, they paint me, they sculpt me, they photograph me. I write music. I write in metaphors. I'm listening to the Jungian psychology video. I noticed that I project onto other people, and I've had people project onto me. Gwyneth Paltrow recently has talked about this, about being an introvert and being, sometimes when you're an actor for a living, you're an introvert. I am I do music and poetry and modeling, and yet I'm fairly introspective and introverted. And I was going to say lately I've been feeling really burned out, even though I love modeling and I love sharing music and poetry, and I've done open mic and I model for a living in front of lots and lots of people. Part of me wants to retreat into nature. Part of me wants to literally have more solitude. And I notice when I'm around other people, I feel protective of myself. I'm not talking about people that I work with. I'm actually really good at working with um, the people that I help take care of pets, and I work with, well, mostly I get to be alone with the pets, but I work with the people about taking care of their pets. And I work with art students and medical students. I'm really good at the professional roles that I have with people like that, and I'm really happy and grateful. But in my personal life, with personal close friendships and my dating life, I have a hard time with boundaries. I have a hard time with, I have a therapist that I talk to every couple weeks, and I think it's going pretty well. But I think even with that person, I'm fairly honest, but I feel more like I'm my real self when I'm by myself. And I hope that I'm being my real self right now. I'm talking into this camera and I'm publishing this on YouTube, and I'm trying to just be as honest as I can. I'm not going to tell you all of my most personal, private thoughts, my personal things that I don't want to share with everybody. And yet I will say that I feel more like I'm my real self when I'm by myself and when I'm in solitude more, or when I'm with nature, when I'm with plants and animals and trees. And I guess it's nice if you can feel like you can relax around another human being and be very natural. The way we use technology these days is it's getting really creepy. I feel like we've sort of painting ourselves into a corner, literally. And I feel like, what they've discovered about history lately is that we don't really know maybe the correct things about history. In other words, there's technology, there's the pyramids, and then there's those other stone, I forgot what they're called, somewhere in South America, Bolivia or somewhere interesting in South America. There's these ancient stone structures that have been cut in perfect, they're perfectly like perpendicular to each other, and there's like angles that have been cut into the stone, and it's absolutely impossible that we had that technology however many thousands of years ago. At least that's not what we think. We think we did. So it's either extraterrestrials that helped us create that on this planet Earth, or our history is different than we thought, and we actually had more advanced technology way back then than we do now. And perhaps we destroyed ourselves with our technology, and then we came back and now we don't really remember our real history, and that could be actually true. And these kind of things fascinate me. I'm not talking into the camera to convince you. That's what I've noticed is a lot of people on social media websites, they say their opinion and then it's like they put each other on trial. It's like everyone has to prove their opinion, and we're kind of at war with each other, and we're trying to justify and prove our opinion. And I just don't even want to do that. And my opinions are all over the map, and I'm not here to prove to you that my opinions are correct. I know in my heart and soul what I feel, and that's my authenticity. And I know that other people see it differently. And I don't, it's exhausting to try to prove that one person is right and the other person is wrong. I feel like we're in this war right now of people trying to prove who's right and who's wrong when it comes to food, politics, art, music, theater, philosophy, history, science versus spirituality versus religion versus all these paradoxical things. And then I was just thinking of um, listening to the silence and the paradox of it all, and this Jungian psychology video that I watched about how it's good to take your power back and not give your power away. And I feel like humans have been taught that it's selfish to focus on ourselves and our friends and our family and our local community. I feel like we're being taught that that's selfish and that we have to fixate on what's happening in other parts of the world that we have no control over. And I'm not here to tell you you should do whatever you think is best. I'm just saying for me, I'm witnessing people being taught that it's selfish to focus on loving life and enjoying life. And because there's so many things happening in the world that are negative and people that are suffering and people that need to be helped, and there's people crying out for help, and there's all this conflict in the world, and there always is. And I'm trying to figure out my place in this. Like, how do I, as an individual, take responsibility and utilize the freedom that I have? And I'm somebody who believes in free speech and believes in the freedom to be rebellious and about whatever you want to be rebellious against. And I feel like I like to question everything. And I like the freedom of being a chameleon. And the paradox of the Jungian psychology video, I just mostly wanted to say that about, see, I'm a spiritual person, but not a religious person, but I'm not an atheist. And I feel like there's people who say believe in science because they take the Bible literally, but I don't take that literally. I take it as a metaphor. Just like some of the scientific facts that we're taught, we discover that we're wrong and then we change our minds, and humans change their minds all the time. And I know that when medical students go to medical school, they're taught that a lot of what they're taught, they're going to find out is wrong later on. So medicine and science and biology, we keep, changing what we think. And quantum physicists talk about the more they study physics, the more they realize what they don't know versus what they do know, and that human beings, when they're conscious of something, that affects the results. And so science is more plastic, neuroplasticity in our brains exists, but also even scientific facts that we think are solid. I mean, really, all the molecules, I know Deepak Chopra talks about this, all of the molecules are not really solid. We think something is, we think that this hard plastic case is solid, but this is actually lots of empty space and molecules that are moving around. And so things are not as solid as they seem from a scientific standpoint, and that's literally true. Here's 4 self-portraits of my face where I look like a different person in all 4 shots. This is Shannon Nicole Kringen here. And there's 4 different versions of my face, and I look different in every shot. And it's like this amplified chameleon getting her dreams on, body paint dance, TV romance. But excuse me, I sneezed. So I'm excited about the music projects and the poetry projects, and I have a philosophy. I take a lot of things as a metaphor, even if they're literal, and I'm supposedly on the autism spectrum. And sometimes when people say things to me, I take them literally when they're supposed to be a metaphor. But you know what? I also do the opposite. Sometimes people are speaking in, wait, did I just say that backwards? See, I'm dyslexic. Sometimes people mean something literally and I think it's a metaphor, but sometimes people mean things metaphorically and I think it's literal. So I've done both. I do both. I have done both directions, and I'm ambidextrous, but I'm mostly left-handed. I'm very much left-hand dominant, to the point where I'm learning guitar. Well, I took a break from it, but I was going to learn guitar. I haven't had time lately, but I need to make time for it if I want to do it. I know. I have left-handed guitar because I tried playing right-handed and it felt wrong. This right-handed guitar feels really wrong to me. Left-handed feels very right. Very left-handed, left feels right. Left-handed feels very correct. Feels like, and when I roller skate around a track, I want to go clockwise. Most places always want you to go counterclockwise, which is totally backwards to me. I like to go clockwise. I have a very strong intuitive sense of wanting to go clockwise, and I want to tap into my deepest self and trust myself. And so this Jungian psychology video was fascinating to me. And by the way, today is Easter, and I celebrate the rebirth and the symbolism of that. I'm not a religious person, but I'm a spiritual person. I don't come from a traditional family, so my family doesn't really celebrate Easter officially. I mean, when I say my family, I mean my mom, who lives 2 hours away from me, and my dad, who lives 3,000 miles away from me. So that's my family. I don't have any brothers or sisters or kids of my own or grandkids of my own, or even a spouse. I'm dating somebody, but I don't really have a spouse. Although I'm not really dating anybody in a traditional way, I'm sort of close with somebody, but I don't know. We don't really have a traditional, my love life is not traditional. I don't really understand what my love life is right now, but I'm mostly my own solitary person and on this earth doing music and art and modeling and both my parents are unusual too. My dad he has his own personal philosophy in the way he lives his life. My mom has her own personal philosophy in the way she lives her life. So I come from a family of people that are very individual and very much into their own intuitive way of doing things, very non-traditional. And I'm going to see Nick Lowe tonight here in Seattle. Nick Lowe, who opened for Tom Petty in 1983. As you know, Tom Petty widens my jetty. So I just wanted to catch you up. There's a new video. It ain't about you, babe. I would love to have that played on KEXP radio. You can ask me if you want to help me get my music. It ain't about you, babe, by Goddess KRING on KEXP radio in Seattle. Ask me and I'll tell you. Maybe I'll put it in the description below if you want to say, hey, KEXP radio, please play Goddess KRING. It ain't about you, babe. I heard back from 3 different DJs who remember me from the public access days, and I'm happy about that, from my Goddess KRING TV show that I did in Seattle from 1996 to 2011. That's 15 years I was on TV for public access TV, non-commercial television. Um, the paradox of I noticed that when I'm around other people that I'm trying to be friends with or close to, I feel a little guarded and like I'm preoccupied with trying to get my needs met or trying to figure it out with that other person. And so I think about myself and I get defensive around other people that I'm trying to be close to. And then when I'm by myself, I'm thinking about those other people. And I need to flip that. That's like dyslexic of me to do that. And this Jungian psychology video pointed out that a lot of humans do that, whether they're conscious of it or not. I'm actually pretty self-aware. And so I'm conscious that sometimes I think about other people that I'm trying to be better friends with when I'm not with them. And I think about them a lot and I imagine what I might say to them, or I wonder what they think of me. I wonder what other people think of me, how I affect them, how they affect me. And I waste a lot of time and energy doing that, I think. And sometimes maybe it's good to daydream and brainstorm on these ideas. But when I'm by myself, it's best for me to focus on really taking care of myself and filling up my own cup. Um, and I'm trying to clean and organize my apartment, but I'm procrastinating about that because it's the most fun thing for me is to work with other people and do my art and my music, my poetry, my photography, my painting, my performances that I do. And yet I've lost touch with parts of myself. I've self-abandonment got me stranded again, polluted and uprooted, and intimacy chasing me, feel like it's erasing me. These are phrases that popped into my head, and so I can learn from these. So the Jungian video, it's all about take your power back when you're with yourself in solitude. I spend a lot of time by myself. When I'm with myself in solitude, that's when I can really nourish myself and really take care of myself and focus on myself and that know that that's not narcissistic. For me to really take care of myself when I'm by myself is not narcissistic. Um, if I'm preoccupied with myself when I'm trying to give and receive with another person, then that could be a self-centered thing in a negative way. You know, some people see these photos of me and this is my art. They think, oh, that's narcissistic. But the thing is, when other people photograph me, I never can be this poised and confident, which is interesting. Although sometimes when I model other people, they'd make beautiful drawings of me like this. So I don't know, but I'm all over the map. So I'm just thinking about my personal philosophy, and I'm a spiritual person on this earth, and I question everything, and I'm fascinated by quantum physics, and I'm fascinated by um, Joseph Campbell and all the different philosophies in the world, and I'm fascinated by actual science, actual non-dogmatic science. Just like I like the wisdom in religion and spirituality, and I like the actual wisdom in the in scientists who are not afraid to tell us the truth about what they're seeing instead of telling us what a corporation that's making money wants us to think is real or false, true or false. So there's some biases happening. So when I listen to scientific people talk, I always wonder, gee, are they biased or are they telling us the objective truth as they know it? We're still trying to figure it out. I mean, we don't even know most of what's in the ocean. I know that we haven't really even explored much of the ocean. And so history is probably different than what we think. And so these are some of my deeper thoughts that I'm thinking. And I'm excited to get the new video out called Cactus Hugging Vulnerable Viking. We do have an Ain't About You, Babe. I'm excited that that video is getting a little bit more engagement with the audience. I've had this YouTube channel for 21 years, since 2005, and I have less than 2,000 subscribers. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. I can't force anybody to like and subscribe. There's my tattoo, means be yourself no matter what they say. Be yourself no matter what they say. There's a Sting song, Englishman in New York, that I love. That's where I got that 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 lyric, be yourself no matter what they say. And then that's from a Sting song, but I wrote Oxymorons Through the Door, a group for loners, and they all showed up. That's from Kaleidoscope Unicorn, a Goddess KRING song. I'm happy that I listen to my own CD in my car. It comforts me. I'm comforted by my Goddess KRING music that I do with Dave Flowers from Interactive Jack Records. I'm comforted by that music as much as I'm comforted by Tori Amos music and Tom Petty music and Neil Young and Bob Dylan and Bjork and Laurie Anderson and Patti Smith and Pink Floyd and Miles Davis and Marty Stewart and Jesse Sykes and Jason Webley and Rafe Perlman and Pete Droge and the Rolling Stones and the Beatles and Bob Marley and the Doors and jazz, country, blues, folk, Joan Baez, um, Emmylou Harris, Lucinda Williams. I like some Dwight Yoakam. I like some music I've heard from the Middle East that I don't know the name of, and Middle Eastern music and pipe organ music and didgeridoo music from Australia and music from Africa that I don't know the name of. And there's all kinds of like South African music and Cuban music and Asian music from China, Japan. Just I've heard lots of different kinds of music, and I've appreciated the different sounds that humans make, and my brain likes to think all these different thoughts. And my favorite music is folk, country folk rock, like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Would be my favorite band hands down. But the only band that I can really say I know every album of and every lyric and almost every song that they ever released. Most other bands, I don't know that as well, but I do appreciate all different kinds of music. And I like a lot of country music. I like Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson and Lucinda Williams and Marty Stewart, and especially the album he made, Way Out West, with Mike Campbell, Tom Petty's guitarist. And um, I love the Daniel Lanois and Rick Rubin produced albums that he did with U2 and Bob Dylan and um, Neil Young. Lanois by Neil Young. I love that album. Okay, I think I'm going to take a walk and I'm going to go see Nick Lowe tonight. And I'm excited about the music I'm sharing. And I'm very conscious of wanting to learn to take better care of myself when I'm with myself and really focusing on myself instead of giving my power away to other people and projecting onto other people when I'm by myself. Other people don't know that I'm doing that, but I'm doing that. Maybe on a psychic level, though, we all know that we're thinking about each other. And it's good to care about other people, but when I'm with myself, I want to focus more on taking care of focusing. Really, that's the time to really be self-absorbed in a take care of yourself kind of way when you're with yourself in solitude. And I'm in a play the first 2 weekends of May at the Seattle Center. I'm in a play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the first 2 weekends of May. It's called Shenaniganza, I think. Shenaniganza. It's by the Damn Theater people, DAMN Theater. It's at the Theater of Puget Sound at the fourth floor of the Armory at Seattle Center. And my friend Chris Matthews invited me to be part of the play, and I get to share two Goddess KRING songs, I think. And I'm going to do a surprise, give a gift to the audience every night. Somebody in the audience is going to get a gift every night from me. And I'm excited to do my 10 minutes in the play as part of a bunch of short plays written by local playwrights here in Seattle. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about my art modeling career that is continuing and making more music videos. And I just wanted to catch you all up on how I feel today. It's April 5th, 2026. And again, here's that beautiful drawing of me and my art car, Opal Moonstone. And I need to make a new 4 faces of me. And what is it? Oh, here's 4 other faces of me. I made this and I made a new business card. I have a new business card and I have, ooh, this is from me in Florida. I think that's 2005, the first time I went to Florida. And I painted my face there. And Tom Petty, an American treasure. I would like to make another button. I wore a button every day on my heart for like 9 years since he passed away in 2017. Let's see. So yeah, that is about 9 years, isn't it? So I want to make another button of this image of Tom's face. I love this. Whoever did this art, I love what you did. I'm writing a song actually called Tom Petty Widens My Jetty, and we did a cover of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, The Waiting, that we are going to pay the mechanical licensing fee of and release it officially. We can, as long as we pay the fee, we're allowed to release a cover song of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, The Waiting. That's coming out soon. It's our new album is called Cowboy Krang. And It Ain't About You, Babe is on my YouTube channel, and Cactus Hugging Vulnerable Viking is coming soon. And yeah, our new album's coming out soon. Okay, thanks for listening. Have a good day, everyone. Bye for now. Do what you love.